Hey everyone, and welcome to part 6 of Let's Create a Pokemon Clone. And this one we're going to be detecting whether we're walking on normal grass or tall grass. So in all the Pokemon games, when you're walking through tall grass, your counter is ticking, and each one you step on, there's a possible chance that you'll collide with a Pokemon and go into battle. So we're going to want to change that up so when we're walking on normal grass or paths or anything like that, that we are not calling the counter at all. It's not something we want. It's not how normal Pokemon games are designed. It should just be while you're walking through tall grass that you can encounter Pokemon. So we'll just go jump into the code real quick and scroll down here. Now for our calculate walk, we want to change this up just a little bit. Now when we're walking, we want to, or when this is called, we want to wait 0.3 seconds. So what this does is allows us time for a player to actually get onto the new tile when they're lerping over from one to the next. And once they actually reach that tile, we'll call it downwards raycast on that tile itself. So we don't want to be calling a raycast immediately because we're going to be calling the tile that we're already standing on. So we want to give our player just a tiny bit of time to get to the next tile before calling this. And after it counts down, what it'll do is it'll call a raycast hit. Now, we're going to be using a physical raycast, and so pretty much this will just do a downwards raycast on an object with collision, and if it detects anything, it'll make it a hit object. And what we can do with that hit object is change it to detect the tag itself. So since we have our planes labeled as tall grass for our tall grass, if that is detected, then it'll be, oh, we're walking on tall grass, so we want to increase the counter. But if we're not, we don't want to do anything. So pretty much, yeah, that's just what it does. It takes the center point of our player and just does a negative vector 3 up. So opposite of up is down. Pretty basic. Hit is our raycast hit, and this is the variable that we're going to be changing when we do hit something, and that's how we can detect the tag. So we'll just walk in there and I'll show you guys how this works real quick. Pop up the console real quick and clear that. So when our player is walking, we'll just see normal hits on the grass. And you see tall grass when we actually hit the tall grass. So I can clear this real quick. Tall grass, tall grass, tall grass. And then when we start walking on normal grass, it's just hit, hit, hit. We can walk over here, tall grass, hit, hit, hit. So now that we have that working correctly, what we want to do is actually take this walk counter, copy that. We'll just get rid of that code. We're not going to need that there. And we'll put our walk counter here. So this code is still going to be called every time we are randomly walking and our counter goes up, but we only wanted to call the walk counter when we're encountering tall grass. So this will make it so our walk counter only goes up when we're walking on tall grass and where we can actually call Pokemon battles. So if you guys haven't followed the previous tutorials and are just curious about the tag system, click on that real quick, drop this down, add tag, and then you can add to the size and just add your tag in there. And then when you go back, you can tag it as whatever you want. So this is tagged as tall grass, and you want that to be the exact same name as what this is for the object you want to collide with. Now if you want, you could do copy this code and do a different if statement and call something else. So that's what we're going to be using for the future tutorials when we're encountering different tiles or certain tiles. Maybe there's a tile for water or something, or a object, or just something random that maybe the player can't get to unless they use a certain item or something. So we'll be wanting to call raycasts like that. So let's see if there was anything else I wanted to cover. That might actually be it. We can go test out this new counter real quick just to make sure it works. So tall grass, tall grass, tall grass. So I'll just, and then there we go, we encountered a Pokemon, or what will eventually be some kind of monster or whatever you guys want it to be. But just for reference, just trying to mimic a Pokemon game. In the end, it's not going to be Pokemon, but for now, we're just calling the stuff Pokemon. But yeah, so in our next tutorials, I don't know what I'm going to cover next, but I will figure something out. Stay tuned.